Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour, brought to you by TJS Ceramic Studio, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire arts and entertainment conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Hello again, faithful and longtime listeners, and a hearty hello to those of you listening for the first time. Today, we chat with the ladies of LiRa, Lisa Conlin and Raena Rasmussen, talk about their 9th season showcase this weekend at the Pavilion. Then we talk to the man that has now made a 15-year-old idea come to fruition, Ricardo Tarabelsi from Trio Jazz Club that recently opened. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Whatever you're drinking and whatever you're drinking it out of might very well be determined by where and when you happen to be listening. Well, my choice, as many of you know, a Jasper Newton. That's Jack Daniel's Diet Coke with a lime. Okay, double tall as well. For you, be it a cup of coffee, a spot of tea, glass of milk, bottle of water, mug of beer, a cocktail, or, let's say, a glass of wine, or maybe a flute of champagne. Lift it high and toast to being worthy. I was listening to a Spotify Jazz Club playlist yesterday morning. This very upbeat, rhythmic, and yes, lyrical song comes on. Gets me feeling G-U-D good, you know? And while I love jazz for all the great instrumental, occasionally there comes along a vocal jazz piece. Not really sure why this song called Worthy was in the jazz playlist, as it was actually labeled as an alternative tune. Regardless, this Mavis Staples song moved me. Again, it's called Worthy by Mavis Staples. It's one of those great reminders that we all need, despite all the stresses we face that can bring us down. You are worthy of smiling and shining. Cheers to you being worthy. Speaking of cheers, which just happens to rhyme with beers, say cheers with a beer or your favorite cocktail at Chasers, West 12th Street and Ellis Road. Make sure you grab some food while you're at it. Now, no Dave Holly Hour trivia next week, as the ruggedly handsome host will be coming home from vacation that day. However, trivia returns to Chasers Monday, August 12th, with post-Olympics and fairs and festivals as the theme. Honorable mention. What over the past week made Dave laugh, guffaw, chuckle, chortle, giggle, simply smile, or maybe even shed a tear of joy? Well, last Friday, I did my best to imitate the big man in the red velvet suit as the crowd was walking into the Canaries game, their annual promotion of Christmas in July. Yes, it was outside. Yes, it got to 98 degrees. And yes, the heat index over 100. That doesn't usually sound like fun, but it put a smile on my face as kids were bringing souvenir baseballs to old Santa Claus for his autograph. While it was toasty in the suit, it was a heartwarming night. In just a few minutes, we chat with Lisa Conlin and Raena Rasmussen from LiRa Dance Company. Then we talk jazz with Trio Jazz Club owner Ricardo Tarabelsi on the Dave Holly Hour. Serendipity Studio and Gift Gallery in the Shriver Building has a fun weekend planned. Friday night, as part of the Downtown Sioux Falls First Friday, they're going to give you the opportunity to meet artists being displayed in August. Sunday morning, Jason Fitzer hosts a walking photo tour that includes his expertise in the fine art of photography, that goes from 10 until noon. Offering great art, gifts, and chances for you to learn, it's Serendipity Studio. You can go on their website, serendipitystudiosd.com, get a full list of upcoming events. As well, if you're an artist, take a look at that call for artists. They may be able to help you out. Serendipity Studio, located downtown Sioux Falls in the historic Shriver Building at 230 South Phillips Avenue on the second floor.
Are you an artist? Need some funding to further your art? There's a great opportunity for you through a Sioux Falls Arts Council program. The Artist Microgrant program gives away several microgrants to local artists, no matter what art discipline you're in. Unlike more traditional grants, a microgrant is very easy to apply for. Go to artssiouxfalls.org. If you haven't done so yet, create a listing on the Artist Directory, which is beneficial in its own way. Then go to the Artist Microgrants page and apply online. The process is simple. Find out more about the Sioux Falls Arts Council as well online at artssiouxfalls.org.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics, inside Oscar's mini storage. We have thousands of classic vintage ceramic mold items and several new items too. TJS Ceramics offers classes, special open studio nights, and completed ready-to-purchase items. Bisque, studio time, or painting parties are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in person today or email tjsceramics@gmail.com for more details.
He's a bit flirtatious, but most of all, fun. Once again, here's Dave Hawley.
Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, you know what I like to say at the beginning of every conversation about it's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. Always a pleasure to have returning guests. But today I want to do something special. Normally you think of it's the most wonderful time of the year for the holidays, right? No, it's most wonderful time of the year anytime that these two lovely ladies come in from LiRa Dance, Lisa Conlin, Raena Rasmussen. Hello.
Hello, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
It is always such a great time to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
And to talk about LiRa Dance. And, of course, the reason we bring up Most Wonderful Time, because this is kind of like our annual chat. If we don't speak the rest of the year, we still have this. And it's because you have a LiRa showcase coming up Thursday night and Friday night at the Washington Pavilion in the Schulte Room, correct?
Correct.
Oh, what are we going to be seeing in this? I mean, every year it's like, wow, that's incredible. How can they top that? Then the next year, wow, that's incredible. How can they top that? So what's going to happen in this particular show?
Yeah, that's kind of what we say sometimes. Raena and I talk and we'll be like, how can we top that? How can we top that? So we have, this year we have 36 dancers dancing, and we have a lot of local guest choreographers and then one guest choreographer from Kansas City. And we have so many different styles, and that's what we always think is so cool about LiRa Dance Theater Company, right, is we embrace dancers from all different ages, and that have danced different hip hop, ballet, lyrical, contemporary, tap, jazz. And so we always have something for everybody on the program. We have some pieces that are really story driven. And then we have some that are just purely entertaining. But I do think this is our best show to date. So I think I don't know if Raena agrees with me, but I really think that we topped it from last year.
Oh my, looking forward to it. Then that is, of course, if I can go see it.
Yes.
Scheduled to be on vacation, but there's wildfires out where we're supposed to be on vacation, so might get to see it regardless.
And where are you supposed to be, Dave? Montana?
No, in Drake, Colorado.
Oh, even better, maybe.
Yeah.
I think this year is so powerful because we have so many different ages in the company this year. We've got adults 18 through, let's just say maybe 60. And I think...
Well, but who I'm thinking of, she's older than I am, so I know.
I love about this year is not only do we get to all dance together and all the ages, but the different music. We've got anywhere from Lyle Lovett to Pink to Britney Spears, J-Lo. So we've got lots of different artists this year. So I feel like it's everybody can relate, but it's also awesome for ages 3 will be entertained to 100. I love that we're coming back to Sioux Falls. We'll be back at the pavilion this year and not at Calico Skies. We're going to miss Calico Skies, but we're glad to be back.
In air conditioning.
In air conditioning.
In air conditioning.
But you can still have a cocktail, so all is good. And also I really like that we've got new people involved this year. So it's their first time. So they're so excited, so inspired. And it makes us even more excited and more inspired. And of course, we're having auditions on Saturday for our season 10.
Wow.
Yes. It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
That'll be a monumental thing, won't it?
It's going to be really monumental. Yes.
All right. Now, did you actually start LiRa 10 years ago? Or was there a preview before you actually started doing the showcases?
When I moved here and when I first was going to move here, I called Raena and I said, if I moved to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, will you start a dance company with me? And she didn't hesitate at all. And she said, yes. And then I moved here and then it was probably about 9 months into it. And then she texted me and she goes, well, so when are we starting this dance company? And I think we started it in June of 2015. And then I think we had our first show, or wait, I'm getting the dates wrong maybe. We started it.
No, I think you're right because we did our first year. We did not start practice, I think, until that summer. And then we had that first show in August. So we really were pushing. Yeah. But I think, and then I remember just our first year rehearsing so much.
Yes.
And then now I feel like the dancers are so talented. We could throw out a piece in, November when everybody's here over Thanksgiving and be like, hey, see you in June.
Yeah.
Watch your videos.
Yeah. And I think, too, a lot of, we have people, Mackenzie Cook and Thomas Wynn, they've been with us. This will be their 9th season.
Wow.
And Maddie Teetsy's back and Kelsey Nelson are back this year. And they started with us from the beginning and they've guest choreographed all 4 of them. And so when people dance together for so long, they really start to, they become a unit as they move together and they can feed off of each other and you can just feel them getting energy from each other. And of course we have other dancers too that have been with us a long time. And then like Raena said, we have the new dancers, but I just feel like the company is really bonded. We just had a pool party at one of our dancer, Kristen Joseph's house. And so we did a big pool bonding party after rehearsal and dinner and everything. And
fun. Yeah. So as you speak of that, that means so many years together and you were talking about how you can see the energy coming off. So it quite often is, you can tell immediately if some people have chemistry in what they're doing. And this sounds like it's just, they had the chemistry and now it's just, exponentially growing and makes everybody better and better and better.
I agree. I think Lisa and I have a really cool relationship dance-wise. Obviously, we're friends outside of this, the LiRa too. But also, sometimes we don't even see each other's work until, when it gets closer to the show, because Lisa will say, okay, I'll do mine on Wednesday nights and Raena, you do yours on Monday nights. And if we don't have overlapping like each other and each other's pieces, we'll go like, oh my gosh, Lisa, this piece is freaking amazing. I did not see this because, I wasn't there for the art of you creating and crafting this piece. And then she's like, oh my gosh, I didn't see this piece, Raena, that you just put on the stage awards or whatever. And I think we have such a beautiful like trust and bond in each other as well. But then our pieces really start making us show together. So Lisa will come up with a really cool piece about where the crawdads sing, hint, hint. And then I'll come up with a really crazy
great
piece
book.
about, great book too. And about just not feeling quite yourself lately. And all of a sudden she's like, I really can relate to this piece. And I'll be like, this was about how I was feeling this year. And we're like, oh my gosh, this piece is really going to pull us both into
Right.
tears.
And if that's
Yeah.
the case, most likely a lot of audience. too.
Yes, agreed. So
Yeah.
I think like everybody can kind of relate. There's some pieces that'll kind of bring you to your knees in tears. But then Lisa and I are doing a duet this year that we were supposed to do last year before I had the surgery and couldn't dance. That's a little naughty and a little PG-13 together
Yeah.
this year too.
We have a little. It's a
You
little
just
bit
gave me an extra reason not to go on vacation.
it's really fun. It's one of my favorite pieces actually to dance that I've got to dance. Raena and I have done 4 different duets. So the very first year I choreographed a butterfly duet because we were flying into this new company together. And then we had Marlena Locklear, a guest choreographer, choreographed 2 pieces on us. And then Mercy Me and Beautiful. And then I said to Raena, you got to choreograph something because I love her choreography. And so many people said it's such a fun piece. Like we are playful with each other and it's technical. And so I won't give away too much, but it's to Lyle Lovett. And we both love Lyle Lovett. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, he had some great tunes. No
Yeah.
doubt about
And we
that.
might be drinking during the choreography.
Okay.
So that's always a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
just
that more
FYI.
and more. So when you started, what was the concentration in terms of the dances? You know, the different styles and so forth.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's just another really cool thing about LiRa is that, like Lisa said, we're doing all forms of dance. But what's great about Lisa and myself is that we can do all forms of dance. We're not just ballerinas. We're not just tappers. So Lisa's got a jazz tap piece in the show. I've got a contemporary piece in the show, a jazz piece in the show, a lyrical piece in the show. Tony Bartholomew choreographed a modern piece in the show.
Yeah.
But Lisa and I love all forms of dance. And so, we've done ballet, we've done jazz, we've done lyrical, contemporary, tap, all the forms of dance. So I feel like we really collaborate on that. Just that we want all movement styles. It also helps us include every dancer in the show.
Yes.
So if you're just a ballerina, you can be in the show. If you're just a tapper, you can be in the show.
Yeah.
So,
and we really highlight people like what we think they really excel at, but then we also do understudies. And then, so we give people a chance that maybe they step out of their comfort zone. Maybe they're not really a jazz person. They've had more training in contemporary or lyrical, but then we put them as an understudy. And a lot of times Raena and I will put the understudies in if they're working hard and doing a really good job, because it's always fun to push yourselves and challenge yourself. And I know when we have guest choreographers come in too, I know the dancers really appreciate that, working with other people besides Raena and I, because then they get other styles too of different choreographer styles.
Right. And as you also mentioned, you have plenty of choreographers within LiRa Dance.
Yes.
And some of them will be showing off some of theirs as well. So
Yes.
the showcase, by the way, does the showcase have a title this year?
yeah, it's called Us.
Us.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Super cool. So it's called Us.
And one of the pieces is titled
Don't want to give
Us.
off too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Daintree Ten Nickel.
Well,
yes.
Her piece is titled Us. And it kind of embraces us, I think, of where we're at right now in season 9, don't you think?
100%.
That how the company's really been growing, because I think the first year we maybe did we have 15 dancers or 20? We maybe had 15 dancers and now we have 36. So the company's really growing. And like I said, I feel like, and Raena said that too, like they've really stepped up their game and everybody's improving year after year. And then they're dancing together year after year. And so I just feel like the company's really taken off.
So 36 dancers. How many pieces are we going to have in this show?
I think there's 15.
15.
15.
Okay.
Yep. And there's Act 1, Act 2, and there's an
All right,
intermission.
so there is.
We have a silent auction. Some really cool, innovative things. Some Rebecca Merriman always, I think she might be doing it again, but she always gives away, or on the silent auction, she has a class for, she's the bartender. And so like a drink class, cocktail
mixology
class.
thing?
Yeah, it's a cocktail class.
It's super cool.
And it's always the hit. People always are bidding on it. So she's such a good bartender. She does that too. At Myrtle's.
Yes.
Give Myrtle's a plug,
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
But anyways, and then like I'll do a Pilates class. Raena will offer dance classes. Some of the dancers make things like candles or crochet, knit, just really fun, creative.
Fishing trip.
Oh yeah, fishing
is
trip.
on there. Some like cool like massage baskets, like really cool stuff that you can bid on.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
Food
Yeah.
places. Yeah.
So what motivates the two of you all the time?
That's a really good question. Actually, somebody asked me this the other day. They're like, why are you so inspired and why are you keep creating? And I was like, I just still have more ideas.
Yeah.
I actually have more ideas now than I did probably 20 years ago.
Right.
I think because of life, I think is a huge one. I think because I keep experiencing things in life that I keep thinking that I wasn't going to experience. So maybe hardships in life. Lisa and I are doing a little thing about our daughter's leaving because her daughter is actually leaving next week to move away. And my daughter is leaving in 3 weeks for college. So we're doing a little piece about saying goodbye, but also still being here and present and together. So I think life inspires me, but also music really inspires me. So all of a sudden I'll hear a song and be like, I have to create to this. I even heard the song Shake, 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 Sonora, Shake Your Body, Rock.
I love that.
And I think I was like, Lisa and I have to create to this together.
Oh, I know.
This has to be a piece. Like,
I know.
we have to end a show with this sometime. Like,
I
this is
know.
it. Yeah.
After our pool party, she texted me, we should do a duet in the pool. And I'm like, oh, that would be cool. Maybe we can have a little mini pool or aquarium.
Get your vintage swimming suit
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Marvelous mermaids.
Yeah, the old time nightclubs down in Miami and so forth.
Yeah.
With the mermaids.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I see it happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
It will happen. I know that.
Yeah.
When I talk to you two, I know that whatever you say is going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great things about, our relationship over 5 years now.
Yes.
Of learning about dance more and how prevalent it has become in our arts community.
Yes.
I mean, you have to be incredibly proud of that.
Very.
Yeah.
I think very. I think just dance in general all over the world is getting bigger and bigger. And I think people are realizing the joy in it. In a lot of other countries, they get up and dance and everybody dances. But in the United States, it was considered
We're a little bit more reserved.
Yeah, or maybe a prestigious female thing. And now I just feel like it's getting more and more. Everybody wants to move because they feel like it's, getting bigger in the world, but also it's getting more public, I think.
Yeah.
I think, when
TikTok.
they came, well,
Yes, for sure.
social
TikTok.
media, definitely.
Social media, yeah.
But, when that phrase came out about, dance like nobody's watching, I've always loved that.
Yeah.
And I think that and people singing to music has also grown. And so people are just more creative in their own spirits now.
Yes.
And it's so good to see that there's this openness when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, we do have a long way to go on group dances and so forth.
Yes.
We got some work there.
I agree.
I feel
agree.
like, though, there's a lot more dance on television.
Yes.
And in movies. And so I think people get inspired by that. And then even just with books and when they make them into movies. And I just feel like with, like Raena said, like you can see so much on YouTube and, online with TikTok and Instagram. And so I think dance is getting, people just love watching it. It energizes you and it brings you joy.
Yes.
Right. And the other thing is the choreography. I mean, I think back to, recently the plays and the musicals that I have seen and see your names quite often as to helping with choreography. And it's like so advanced compared to what it was. If you saw Oklahoma 20 years ago, you didn't remember a dance.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you see it now, you're probably going to remember 3 or 4.
Yeah. Everything's elevated so much.
Yes. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And all the students are doing so much more than what we did when we were younger. There's just so much more access to, I think, with everything being online and there's just so many more innovative things.
All right. So we've talked about all the different styles of dance. Does that include break? the new Olympic sport.
I saw that.
I saw
that
too.
breakdancing is
We
in there.
have
That's
funk
so
and
cool.
hip hop. We have
Okay.
funk
Yeah.
and hip hop.
Yeah, we've got a piece called "On the Floor."
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely some hip hop in there. There's a piece called 777 in our show, and it's
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. That's right.
Yeah.
And it's hip hop. But yeah, maybe we need to bring a break in there. We'll talk to Mr. Thomas about that one for
Yeah.
next year.
I can see him
Thomas
doing it.
does a little
me
bit
too.
of that
He's
in
right.
my on the floor piece. He does
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit of that breaking kind of, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch it
Yes.
on the Olympics.
Yeah,
Me too.
Me too. It
Me
looks
too.
like it's going to be a great thing to have, and it's always fun when new things get added and we accept things as
Agreed.
sport, as art, and,
Yes.
and so forth. And look forward to that, but always look forward just to seeing, even if we're only you two on stage, but you've got 34 others.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's going to be fantastic for anybody that can make the show. Before we continue, let's just talk about tickets, because I know they've got limited seating there.
Yes.
And so how close to sellouts are we?
We're getting close to selling out both shows. So if you want to come to the show, you want to go to washingtonpavilion.org or call the box office to get your tickets for LiRa Dance Theater Company. Us Thursday, August 1st, Friday, August 2nd at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Excellent. So we got that part taken care of. All right. So how about on a personal basis, Lisa, what was the first type of dance that you just thought was incredible, and this is where my life is going?
I think I remember I grew up in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and I remember my mom and dad taking me to the ballet. And it was Royal Winnipeg Ballet came, and they did the Nutcracker. And I just remember being so in awe of all the dancers, and it was so magical. And I was in dance at that time. I was in a dance studio with my dear mentor, Judy Smith. And I just think like all the colorful costumes and all the dancing, I just said, I want to do that. I want to be a professional dancer. And so I took dance at the YMCA. That's where we first were before she got her studios. Later on, she had 2 or 3 different studios that she moved around. But I remember standing at the candy machine after class, and I think candy bars were like, a nickel or 10 cents at that time. But I remember telling my friend, I'm going to be a professional dancer when I was 12 years old. I knew I wanted to dance for a living.
Yeah. All right, Raena, same question.
Okay, yeah. Now that you say that, I'm trying to think. I remember taking dance in a woman's basement, Judy Sona, here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. My mom said at age 3, I told her I want to dance. And my mom thought that's a good idea because you can't stop moving. So I need to get you out of the house.
Burn that energy.
Burn this energy because I'm going crazy. So she put me, I remember I was in the basement of Judy Sona's house, and I remember she only taught jazz and tap. So I just did jazz and tap for about 5 years. And then my mom was kind of going like, I feel like I need to move you to a different studio because you're taking it seriously. And the other kids are just, eating root beer barrels. I remember we ate a lot of root beer barrels in the corner.
those.
Yeah. And they were eating root beer barrels and I was, practicing my tap in the corner. So I moved to a different studio at that time. And my mom was like, from then on, I knew you were going to dance. And my best friend, who actually lives in Missoula, Montana, she said to me the freshman year of college, I was putting my stuff in the locker and I just kept saying to her, I'm going to move to New York. I'm never getting married. I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to be a dancer. And if you want to come with me, you can, but this is my goal and this is my plan. And she said, you were just like, this is how it is. This is what's happening. And here I am, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Married.
Wonderful
Wonderful family.
family and doing LiRa.
Yep, but professional dancing in South Dakota.
Yes.
Right. And,
yes.
that's the other thing, and we talk about it so often on this show, is how far this city has come. This the Sioux Empire, as we go around a little bit more than Sioux Falls, is just the impact that the arts have had and how it continues to grow. The different venues, the places that people show their art, and the opportunity for people to be involved in art and entertainment. And when it comes to dance, my first word out of my mouth is LiRa, even though it's a combo name.
Oh, that's sweet.
But
Yeah.
it's just, when people say, hey, I've got a child, you do stuff about the arts and everything, don't you? Yeah. well, what if I want to get them involved with dance? Lisa Conlin, Raena, Rasmussen, they have LiRa.
Oh,
that's all you need to know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. We just love you.
Yeah, love you too as well.
Love you.
And
We love
thank you for some great things you've done recently. You both were in Avati's show,
Yes,
which
we
I
were.
co-host and co-produce, and it was wonderful. And so now we had fire dancers at a show last year. We've had you with a variety of dance in that show, along with Sidney Bartunik and Mr. Bartholomew.
Yes.
And we've got Rebecca Merriman and Brenda Ludens lined up for some tap, I think,
love
in the
it.
November
Wonderful.
show. But
We love
I just
them.
want to make sure that you two know, if you ever have an open date, you have carte blanche.
Oh,
You
love
can
that.
just say, Dave, we want to be in this show. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, we might do
well,
that.
We'll have
That'd
to
be
drum
awesome.
something up for you.
Yes, season 10 surprise. Yeah.
And then additionally, the Sioux Falls Stage Awards. Bravo in
Thank
all
you.
caps
Oh.
and like 10 of them. Just
Aw.
absolutely amazing. And
you.
I've been told by a little bird that the closing number you did might be a repeat in some show coming up in just 24 to 48 hours.
Yes.
The opening of stages that we did, Raina's piece, Unsteady. Yes.
With the live music.
Yeah.
And then
Oh.
Lisa's big jazz tap number.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was incredible.
It was awesome.
So, yeah, both of those will be in the show. So,
Yeah.
Looking forward to that then. Yay.
yay.
Fantastic. And of course, as we wrap things up, you've all done the, if you weren't involved in arts and entertainment, what would you be entertained by and so forth? We're changing questions now. So I want to know, what is your word for this year?
Oh, my word is imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I always said a word at the beginning of the year in
Right.
January. And so mine is imagine the possibilities of
Yeah.
all the things that you can do.
Mm-hmm. My word this year is breath, because I think not only just breathing and taking it all in and realizing how blessed I am to be doing what I love and dancing and all the things, but also just stopping to take a breath and just look around and see all the stuff that's happening around me too.
Well, mine is compliment, and I can't compliment the two of you enough, or LiRa Dance enough,
That's a good
for
word.
all that you do. And it's so greatly appreciated what you've added to the arts in this
Oh,
community.
thank you so
Oh,
much,
Dave,
Dave.
thank you.
We love it. We
Oh,
love
yeah.
doing it.
Yes,
and
we love it.
love having you on the show. And so thank you once again. Appreciate you taking some time, because I know you got to go teach some dance.
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, we both do.
Yes.
And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Comedy magician and hypnotist Jesse Moffat's right. He can't play the piano, but he can sure entertain crowds with his amazing magic and clever quips. His shows always make the participants the stars, especially when they've fallen asleep on stage. They've been hypnotized. Are you the party planner in your group? Then you owe it to your group to make the event magical, even if it puts you to sleep. Here's how.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffitt Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics inside Oscar's Mini Storage. Bisque, studio time, painting parties, and finished items are available. Visit TJS Ceramic Studio in Sioux Falls today.
The Dave Holly Hour. Like eavesdropping on a great conversation between two very interesting people.
Welcome back, everyone. Oh, my goodness. You know, I get to talk to so many different facets of the entertainment business, and it's always a pleasure, as I say, to talk to our Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. This man is making his second appearance on the show. He was one of those that was gracious enough to loan space for about a season or two of this because we had run out of a place, and he says, just do it here. From our wine bar, Bricks, Maribella's, and now the Jazz Trio Jazz Club. Ricardo Tarabelsi.
It amazes me how well you pronounce it. Every time you say it, I'm like,
I love saying
this
it
guy's
too.
like Scandinavian. What are you?
I am mostly German.
German.
Yeah.
Well, it's even tougher.
Yeah. And,
I have a good German friend. He has a hard time with Italian words. But fun fact, Tarabelsi is not Italian. It's actually,
yes, you've told me that.
It's actually
before.
Lebanese in origin. Yeah, my dad was from Syria. He went to Italy, met my mom there. And that's why I was born in Italy and got the first name Ricardo. And so when people ask me, unless I want to get into the story, then we get into it. But most people, it ends in a vowel, must be Italian. Yep, you're right.
So what was your mother's maiden name then?
Benedetti.
Ah, yeah, there we go.
Very Italian.
Very much so.
Yep.
You got it covered there. Well, welcome back, for one thing. Great to have you. And we have so much to get caught up on because it used to be if you wanted to hear some jazz in town, you would go to our wine bar.
Right.
And every so often you would have that, typically on a Wednesday, and then you'd have some live music the rest of the time. But there has been just a need for jazz, and so you went from our wine, then you bring out Bricks across from the Washington Pavilion, then you buy the other end of the building, and you go with Maribella's, which, by the way, if you have not been, has like the #1 pizza in the world.
Too kind.
Yeah, try the Dante, and now the Dante 2 as well.
Yes.
We had that the other night. But you said, because I was there for your grand opening show, that this was really 15 years in the making then. How did that all start?
It was, a very unknown trumpet player named Jim Spears. And I say that sarcastically.
Exactly.
He's very well known. We go back about 15 years ago. I was the general manager at Westboro Hill Country Club.
Okay.
And started talking to him about, hey, maybe we need some live music in our fine dining room just to kind of, elevate the experience at the club. And so, of course, he put together trios, quartets, quintets. That's where I also met Jim McKinney and Joe Shotwell and Dan Heyer and Andrew Reinhardt. I mean, the whole list of our regulars now. But back then, I would just hire them, once a week, and we started forming a friendship. And of course, he's very, trying to think of the word, ambitious / passionate. I mean, he is, Mr. Jazz in South Dakota for the whole state. And so he would keep kind of, just dripping on me. Hey, have you thought about doing 2 nights of live music a week or couple nights a month, or just asking for more? And so then we did. I remember he and Jeremy Haig put together this. I think it was called Main Avenue.
Oh yeah, I remember
Main Street,
Main Avenue Warehouse.
Remember that warehouse? Yes, that's it. Big giant, 12-piece. I forget how many, and we hired them for a weekend at the club and combined it with an event, and it went so well. And I'm like, there's something to this because live music just elevates any event.
True.
Whether it's as simple as a piano player, which we do on Tuesdays at Trio Jazz Club on our house baby grand piano, which was graciously loaned to us by Andrew Reinhardt's. And then, or it could be, like I said, a 9 or a 12 piece or a 5. It doesn't matter. It's just when you aren't just hearing it, because hearing is kind of, you hear pumped in house music sometimes.
Right.
And then sometimes you listen to it and you go, oh, I like the song, or it reminds me of a memory. But then it's a whole different experience when you feel it.
True.
And you feel when live music is being played in the same room in front of you, especially the way we have Trio Jazz Club designed with, it's a built-in stage, professional sound system, professional. We brought in a sound engineer
right
at the beginning of this whole thing to really help us with acoustics, and it's just a lot of musicians have called it a listening room. Like that's how good the sound quality is in there.
So when you decided to do this and you brought in the acoustic engineer and so forth, was there anything that surprised you about what he said you needed and what it might end up costing and so forth?
Not really. He started doing math. He's an engineer. I was like, okay, what does this mean? He had a bunch of numbers scribbled down. And simplistically, it's a 1,200 square foot space. And so we needed at least, at a minimum, 1,200 square feet of sound absorbing material.
Right.
Between the walls, the ceiling, the floor. Of course, we had one wall of our space is all glass, which doesn't help because sound, of course, bounces out, which is why we have the stage not pointing directly at the glass. But there's sound absorbing material inside of the stage, special acoustic tile for the half the room is drop ceiling. The other half that was open ceiling, he suggested these floating clouds that are, they're like 3 inches thick of just sound absorbing material. And then around the soffit, anyway, and the floor with this cork under the floor. So every piece, every element of the design was very, very intentional.
Yeah,
with his input. And I think the nicest thing he said to us, as far as a compliment, he said, most people do a build out, and he says he runs into this all the time. In fact, the majority of his career is retrofitting spaces to make it less noisy, because someone builds a big room and they go, oh, we can't even hear each other talk, and then they call him to come in and remediate. And so he said we were far, far ahead of the game when we didn't, not a single hammer had been picked up yet, and we had him involved.
Wow. It's just a great concept as well. And then, so you bring it to town, and, we're only a few weeks in, but I'd say pretty successful so far.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the turnouts every night, and it was another intentional thing for us where we're not taking reservations. It's walk-in only. And there's a lot to the thought process behind that, but without boring you or your listeners, we really wanted to make it available to anybody that wanted to come in. It's a $5 cover charge every night, except for ticketed events. And we have our first ticketed event coming up this Saturday, in fact. But yeah, the last couple of weeks, it's full on a Tuesday. It's a line at the door on a Saturday. It's just it's overwhelming, the response. And people I had one lady say, thank you for taking such a big risk and for opening a jazz club in downtown Sioux Falls. And to me, like, I didn't respond this way to her, but to me it was like, this was not a risk. I didn't think so. We felt, my wife,
the confidence was there.
We felt very confident about the following and the culture and the community, and yeah, it's been very, very supportive. I think one of the sweetest things that happens almost every night is that there are other musicians that come in as
to
customers
hear others,
to listen and support other musicians.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And we do have to talk about one thing, though, that Joel Shotwell apparently can't count.
Yeah, he has to, take off his shoes when he's counting over 10, put it that way.
Because it was advertised as the JAS Quintet, and my wife asked me on the way in, well, who's playing with me tonight? I said, well, and I start naming them off. And then we walk in and we see everybody else. It's like, yeah, so plus a few. Yeah. It ended up, what, 9?
9. Yeah. Well, to be fair, we did advertise it as the JAS Mini Big Band.
Okay.
Without specifying a number. But yeah, it ended up being 9. We had 3 saxophone players, 2 trumpets, a trombone, piano, bass, and drums.
Yeah.
And they sounded incredible.
Well, and the other thing is it's just such a great showcase of the talent that we have in this community, because these are 9 guys that, all of them play in each other's different groups and so forth, and that they can just say, hey, let's get together and let's have 9 of us on stage here.
Right.
And it works.
It always works.
Yeah. And the other great thing is you're doing 2 shows.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Again, and that as well, that was very intentional. Especially, we do the 2 shows just on Fridays and Saturdays.
Okay.
So on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's a 3-hour. Well, Tuesdays it's a 2-hour set. Wednesday, Thursday, 3-hour set. And of course, musicians take a little bit of a break in between, but it's 3 hours continuous of music. But on Fridays and Saturdays, it's split up. So it's a 6:30 to 8 show and a 9 to 10:30 show.
Yeah.
And that hour gap in between is really intentional. Obviously, to give our musicians a break. We also buy dinner for the musicians so they can really take a break and take it all in. And we've had musicians sitting on the patio, or they go over to Bricks and grab a table. And so they've really enjoyed that part. But it also gives us a chance to kind of almost reset the room.
Mm-hmm.
And by no means are we kicking people out, but people are like, oh, we saw the first set. Now we're going to move on to something else. Or they have dinner reservations next door at Marabella.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it works out really well. Or they go over to our wine bar because we have more live music over there. We still have live music Fridays and Saturdays over there. And, but during that break, it gives other people that came in at 7:00, let's say, in the middle of the set, and it's just packed. And so we suggest, if you come back, between 8 and 8:30, you should be able to get a seat for the 9:00 show. And that's exactly what's been happening. So we get these two full turns, 2 new crowds, and the musicians are enjoying that because then they can really cater to the audience that's in front of them.
Very true. Yeah. And that's part of the great feel of jazz as well, is, how they can improvise and so forth and get everything to still come together. And it's been great to see the number of people that have been coming in. Great to see the different crowds that are coming in. Mm-hmm. I've been surprised by that. And I say that I haven't been there every night, obviously, but been there a handful of times already. And all of a sudden I see one night there's a 21-year-old that I know, and he'd just been across the street at the Pavilion, comes in for the late show then, and loved it. And I never would have thought of him enjoying jazz.
Right.
Because of the age.
We've heard that from so many people. I'll get to the age thing in one sec, but people come in all the time not really knowing what to expect, but they maybe went online and saw that we have our own menu at Trio that's different from Marabella. Mm-hmm. And so they come in because they want to try new items they know it's from us. So they know it's going to be really good pasta, really good pizzas, great appetizers, desserts, salad, the works.
Cannoli is good.
The cannoli. Yes, the cannoli. Don't get me started on cannoli. And so they will stay unintentionally for the music, because they were just there to kind of enjoy the restaurant part of Trio. And they stay for the whole set, and they come up to me and they're like, we didn't know we liked jazz. That's like, and they're shocked that they never either tried to listen to it before or maybe had misconceptions about it or whatever. And of course it's live. I mean, jazz live is just unlike anything else, because when you're watching the musicians, and Joel Shotwell is a really good one at this, where he is always looking at others and listening to others and paying attention to others. And he's very expressive with, hey, that was a good riff. I'm gonna copy that, or I'm gonna play off of that,
take off of it.
And they just go back and forth, and they're so good at that. As far as age, since day one that we opened our wine bar 6 years ago, we've never had age restrictions, and that, again, by design. We wanted to be family friendly, even though we're very wine centric, but we're also food centric. So we're a restaurant, not just about wine. But also at the time, we had 3 underage children that were all working for us. And so we wanted our kids to be in our own restaurants. And so we said, all right, we're not going to be a 21 plus place. It's all ages. And that's carried on to Bricks. You can come in, and we have a regular that's less than a year old. And we have, if you take a look at the Bricks wine cellar up on the glass part, there's pictures of little baby Nora as she's grown up over the months. A little shout out to Nora. And then Marabella, of course, is very family friendly with a kids menu and all that good stuff. And then Trio, really in the last 2 weeks, we've seen so many bring in 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 17-year-olds. I've gotten numerous emails. My 16-year-old is a musician at Lincoln High School. Can I bring him? I'm like, absolutely, yeah, of course. This is what this is for, really.
Yeah.
And that kind of segues into Jazz Jam that we host once a month. Well, we used to host it at our wine bar.
Right.
This is going to be the first month in August. August 7th is the first first Wednesday of the month.
Yeah.
Is how you remember it. But August 7th is the first Jazz Jam at Trio. And over the last couple of years we've been doing this, we see more and more high school kids, college age kids that are getting this chance to play with seasoned professionals. I mean, when do you get a chance like that? And to play in front of an audience, to get live feedback. And these kids just step it up. And this is the next generation of musicians in our city.
Yeah, and I tell you what, a few years ago, I volunteered for a month with Sioux Falls Jazz and Blues when we still had that organization. And I have missed it since then. And so glad that now we have the Jazz Fellowship Center coming along, and a great collaboration between you and them. But one of the things that there was the jazz camp. And to see, I think there was even an 8th grader that was in that, but the 8th through senior, and the music that they played was phenomenal. And I remember that Brian Hannigan was one of the instructors. He said, these kids are playing really difficult charts. So the talent is out there for this to just continue.
Yeah. And
I think, I can't remember who was playing one of the other nights, but it's like, well, he can't be more than 20 something. And so it's moving along. Do you feel that jazz in general is picking up?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Just from the feedback we get from like I said, the turnouts every night. Yeah, so it's different than a typical restaurant, because I can even go to the app on my phone, go to Open Table, and I can already see we have over 100 people for reservations at Marabella, right? Well, we can't do that with Trio. It is, I mean, going back to what that lady said to me, it is kind of a big risk. We just open the doors and we hope people show up. And they've been showing up, and they come in and they stay and they enjoy it, and they have one of our signature cocktails that our bartender Will has created is incredible. The food, of course, is behind the scenes. It's coming from the Marabella kitchen. It's it's branded as a Trio menu item. But yeah, people are just blown away, I think, with the sheer talent. And then getting back to age, we have Jack Simpson has been coming in regularly. He's 19.
That's who it was who was playing. Yes, Jack Simpson.
He grew up here in Sioux Falls, and he went off to he's in L.A. for music. He's incredible. He gets better and better every day. I tell his parents, and they're so supportive. They come in to see him every time, and I tell him every time, he just gets better and better and better. Emmanuel Michael, it's another one of our
incredible
prodigies. We'd like to take credit for discovering. No, we didn't discover him, but we did give him an opportunity, and he seized it. I mean, he just blew everybody away at our wine bar for
he's on
years.
A tune that's getting a lot of national recognition.
He played on an album. I forget the artist, but look up Emmanuel Michael. You won't be sorry.
That's for sure. Getting back to Joel Shotwell for just a moment.
Let's talk more about him.
The grand opening, and this is one of those great things, and I think this kind of ties back into the people that maybe said we didn't know we loved jazz, is how they will take either a contemporary song or a big standard that everybody loves, and they will make it their own. And I think it was only like second song in, and they had about a 6-minute version, very slow, of What a Wonderful World. Brought me to tears.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely phenomenal. So it's great to see, that the people will come in, and all of a sudden it takes a little while maybe, and they go, oh, that's so-and-so.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think Joel has played, I should really count, at least 5 times in the last 2.5, 3 weeks. I mean, he's, with different combos and groups and whatnot, but he was there playing one night, and they were playing, he's infamous. I call it infamous, but he's so talented at this. He plays Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Have you heard?
I have.
Have you ever heard his group play? And he's got, pedals for his saxophone, so he modulates the sound. It's super cool and echoey and almost ethereal. And then you got Al Bourbon on the drums just filling in perfectly. And there was 2 little kids in the booth, and I said, hey, do you recognize this song? And they're like, no. They just, because when you're not really listening, it's the sounds. I'm like, listen. I said, here it comes. And he was playing the kind of the chorus or the refrain of basically the ABC song or Twinkle Little Star. You take your pick. And they were like, oh, wait, I know this. And then they all started singing along. And then later in the set, I walked by that booth, and it was 2 little girls and their parents. And each one of them was mimicking one of the band members, because it was a quartet. So one little girl was pretending to play the drums. The dad was pretending to play piano. And they were all like their own little group. And it was really living in the moment. So when you see moments like that, it just validates this whole experience.
Yeah, not a risk.
Not a risk.
No, that's fantastic. So what got you into desiring jazz?
Wow, that's a good question. And most people are like, "Oh, you must have been a jazz musician, or you played." I played the saxophone in middle school and high school. Did 1 year of marching band and quit.
Yeah.
Of course, I was a soccer player, so a lot of conflicts there. But I was not passionate about playing the saxophone, and I never pursued anything more than just the symphonic band or whatever it was back then. So I never did jazz. But the first chair in my group, I distinctly remember him just wailing away, super jazzy, and like he would do it even like during a regular concert, and the conductor would just be so mad. And I'm like, that was cool. Do that again. He's like, I'm gonna get in trouble if I do it again. So that was kind of my first exposure to something that resembled jazz.
Right.
And really, it wasn't until recently, 15 years ago, when I met Jim Spears and started hiring jazz bands. And I'm like, it's not just it's cool or it creates a vibe. It really boils down to the passion that you see on the faces of the musicians. I mean, Jim McKinney comes to mind. You ever seen Jim McKinney's face when he's playing the vibraphone?
Love it.
Right. Joel Shotwell making his faces. Well, we talked about Joel a lot today. Let's change subjects. Or even Dan Heyer playing the drums. Yeah. Al. I mean, all those guys, and Jimmy just wails on that trumpet when he needs to. At the same time, he can be so restrained or muted, but the feeling, that emotion is transferred, I think, from the musicians to the audience and then back, and that's what makes it really, really special.
It's a fantastic thing. Let's talk a little bit about the whole group of. What is the actual corporate name? That
sure, we figured. Well, we have 5 businesses now. I know you mentioned, Trio, Marabella Bricks, and our wine bar. We also have Vespa Catering, which is our catering company, and so that's been picking up for us with weddings and events at the zoo and office parties and house parties. It's been a fun little offshoot, if you will, for people that want to experience what we offer at the restaurant, at their home, or at their office, or an event hall, and we're happy to do it. So with 5 businesses, we decided it was time to create an umbrella, and so we're called the Vineyard Restaurant Group. Okay. And when I say Vineyard, it's spelled VINYAHD, so that even people that don't know how to pronounce it correctly. It's Vineyard. And the reason why I say it's pronounced correctly is because maybe you know this already, but I grew up in Boston after I was born in Italy, moved to Boston. And my wife was born and raised here in Sioux Falls. We met in Boston in college. And I proposed to her on Martha's Vineyard. And the Vineyard, which is how it's affectionately referred to in the Boston area, because you drop your R's. Yeah. We decided that was going to be appropriate. One of the kind of hidden meanings in our logos. In fact, I'm wearing an R Wine Bar hat today,
which I want, by the way.
Well, I will get you one.
Okay.
And maybe you don't even know this, but the circle around the R and around the M at Marabella, around the T at Trio, the B at Bricks, and the V at Vespa, is a wine stain. Is the way we designed it, right? Which makes sense because we're very wine centric. What you may not know is that the bottom part is actually Martha's Vineyard. That's the shape of the island.
That's the shape of the island. Oh, wow.
When our graphic designer over 6 years ago, we said, okay, this is what we want. Originally it was going to be called Ricardo's, and I'm like, we're not doing that. Let's just shorten it to R. It would be nice and easy. It'll show up great on, stickers and T-shirts and social media icons, all that good stuff. And I said, we want a wine stain around it. And so he basically just Googled wine stains and gave us like 3 options. And looked at the first one, not good. Second one, not good. Third one was this, except the bottom part, in my opinion, the splotch, looked like the state of New York. And I'm like, we can't have New York in our logo. I'm from Boston. Are you kidding me? I mean, people walk in with Yankees hats on all the time, and I threaten to kick them out. Anyway, so we said, hey, can you do this? And of course, I sent him a map of Martha's Vineyard, and the magic of a really good graphic designer. 7 seconds later, he sends me a logo with that. And we said that, I said, because Mary Beth knew we were doing what it was going to be, what it was going to look like conceptually, but hadn't seen the final product. So I told our graphic designer, I said, that's it. That's our logo. Finalize it. Send me the final proof. I showed it to Mary Beth and she started crying. She immediately recognized.
Knew what it was all about. Wow.
So I think Vineyard Restaurant Group is appropriate for us since it's part of each one of our logos and it's part of our, our story and where we met. And now, we've been in Sioux Falls for 25 years, raised all 3 boys here. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. There's a commercial for a bank that you happen to be in. And
that one.
And you say, hospitality beyond expectations. Mm-hmm. And that is so fitting because anybody that's been to any of your businesses is going to realize it is done right. It is done professionally. It is done with friendship in mind. In fact, that's one of the tags that you use. And I can attest to, after having recorded some of these podcasts in our wine bar and even in the basement of our wine bar because the room was being used,
right?
And seeing them put together things, I have to compliment you on the way your staff is put together because you had one of the managers and you had some young kids down there putting the salads together. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't it was oh man, you guys are doing great, keep it up, and so forth. And just the whole attitude is fantastic. And then I think that's also pretty prevalent if you've been going to any of the businesses that you'll see, oh, they're still here. You don't have that huge turnover that other businesses in hospitality do.
Mm-hmm.
What made it so special for you to do that?
And of course, I'm just one person, and it's an entire team effort. My wife is obviously co-owner of all of our business together, but she also takes on the role of HR, and so it's kind of a running joke when someone says something snotty or somewhat sarcastic. It's I'm going to call HR. You don't want me to call Mary Beth, and no one wants anybody to call Mary Beth but I think it's part of our secret sauce, if you will, is whenever there's any kind of drama, and of course we're not immune to drama. People have bad days, people have bad attitudes. Someone interviews great and they're not. That happens to us as well. But my wife is the queen of just very direct, very swift. Mm-hmm. Nothing builds up, nothing festers. It's just everything's dealt with right away, and we go right to the sources and we deal with it. And I think people appreciate that everyone's held accountable. On the flip side, how many family members we have working for us.
Sure.
It's all 3 of our boys.
Yeah.
Well, 2 of them have girlfriends that work for us. One of them is married, who also works for us. My wife's sister is our lead host at Marabella. We have a niece.
Laura?
No, that's Garrison's sister.
That's
our
Garrison's
sister.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we have families within families, of course. No, this Jackie.
Okay.
Yeah. Our nephew Hank runs bricks for us. Our niece Margot is one of our lead servers at Marabella. Excuse me. Our nephew Chance and his wife Kira, they both work for us at our wine bar. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on of family and extended family. And like I said, we have other families that work for us, like this brother-sister duo, Garrison and Laura. We have married couples that work for us. We have father-sons that work for us. And really anybody else that isn't related somehow to someone, we adopt.
Right.
And I know you hear that a lot from businesses. We treat everyone like family. But I think we really go above and beyond on that. Like the other day, one of our servers, she's a newer server, was having a panic attack, and I didn't know this was happening because it wasn't until I walked down the hallway that connects Marabella and Trio, and here's Mary Beth holding her hand, arm around her shoulder, walking her down to Bricks where it was more quiet, and they sat there for an hour just talking her down, and she's like, I can't believe I let you down, because she was scheduled for the shift. And Mary Beth's like, no, guess what? We already have that covered. Like, that is the least, not anything to worry about. Let's keep talking about, what triggered it, what's going on in your life, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, we do take a very, very, I don't know, we just care. I don't know how else to say it, but we genuinely care about every single one of our employees. I mean, we just had our sous chef who basically he runs the line. We have a culinary director that kind of oversees, and that's Adam. But Hector is our sous chef that runs Marabella Kitchen. Like he is the captain of that kitchen, and he has had a baby with his girlfriend, and so my wife was like, "Well, how many weeks do you want off?" And he's like, "Like one." She's like, "No, that's not long enough. She's gonna need you. Like the baby needs you."
Oh,
so he finally settled on 2 weeks, like 2 full weeks. And this guy's a worker, like he wants to be at work. And she said, "No, all right, 2 weeks." And it was like, I think he had like 2 days left. And he's like, "Oh, I'll see you guys on Tuesday." And she goes, "Well, no, we'll see you on Friday or Saturday." He's like, "Well, no, Tuesday is be my 2 weeks." And she goes, "Well, you have to count the weekends. That's 4 more days." And I don't know that at other businesses, it's probably the opposite. Like, "Hey, when are you coming back? And here's a list of things we need when you get back."
Yeah.
And it was not like that. We were, and you know what the best part was is that the line cooks and everyone that works on his line that are in his direct supervision, they were ecstatic to hear that he was going to take 4 extra days off to be with his partner and baby.
Yeah.
And I think that means a lot to everybody, because I think everyone in the back of their mind thinks, "Oh, wow, maybe this is how they treat everybody. Like, I might have a baby someday. What if I need time off?" That we just like we would treat family. It would be like if any one of our sons, I can't tell you how many father-son, quote unquote father-son conversations I've had with a 16, 17-year-old buster that was just having a bad time or, tough upbringing or circumstances or girlfriend breaks up, whatever it is. And that's how we talk to them.
Yeah. If you want to learn how to run a business properly, talk to Ricardo and Mary Beth.
That's too sweet. Thank you.
Well, thank you for everything that you have done for this community. This being a second time around for you, you know that originally the end questions were, if you weren't part of the entertainment business or arts, what do you like to be entertained by? Well, since you're back for a second round, how about this one? What is Ricardo's word for this year?
You didn't send me these questions ahead of time. Word?
One word that you focus on this year.
Unreasonable. You have a follow-up question for that one?
I'd like to hear more.
The word unreasonable, most people have a negative connotation.
Right.
To me, it means how unreasonable can we be with satisfying our guests with our hospitality. In fact, there's a whole book written on this. It's called Unreasonable Hospitality. If you haven't read it, put it on your list.
Good reading. Okay.
Highly, highly recommend. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's just going, it's about not just going above and beyond and beyond that, but going even more so that it just seems unreasonable for a restaurant. Why would a restaurant ever do that for me as a guest? And there's lots of cool anecdotes in that book. And a lot of that philosophy that we've adopted at all of our restaurants.
All right. Well, it's been great to get to know you over the past few years, and to thank you again for the times that we recorded at our wine. Thank you for bringing jazz back to this town as well.
It's our pleasure.
All right. And we will be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xochiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Never met a meal he didn't like. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Thanks again to my great guests, Lisa Conlin and Raena Rasmussen, and Ricardo Tarabelsi. Love to say that. As always, biggest thank you goes to each of you that listen, download, share, and follow, and for your continued interest in Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. Never miss an episode. All 240, they're online at davehollyhour.com. You can use that search function to listen to conversations over the past almost 5 years. Yeah, we're getting close to an anniversary here. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, my name is Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by TJS Ceramic Studio, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, simply buy Dave a cup of coffee. Go to davehollyhour.com and click on the coffee cup icon. Don't forget to stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.